you, you murdering... Oh, isn't that the king I am? You betray all that's meant to be king. You betray God! You dare to question my reign! I was born to be a king! It is my birthright, given to me by God! And made it noble and pure, who gave it order, meaning, and even faith! To thousands of years of loyal subjects, and it is all now questioned by you. I am the blood! I am God's right hand! And you will never dictate to me how I am to be a king!
Episode 5. Today we have Charlie back from the first episode.
Hello, Joseph Sam.
Hello. And today we're going to talk about a fairly... It's been talked about, I'd say recently, maybe more recent, like, I don't know, 2-3 years ago. It was quite big to talk about this because of certain situations that were going on. But we're going to talk about religion, different types of religion, how it affects people, and how it can be used to spread a good message, but also, again, recently, how it's been used as a means of an attack towards people, and also used as a defense. There is certain things I want to get into, but we'll get into that down the conversation. But the first question I want to ask you is, what are your main beliefs on religion? Like, do you have one?
So, I don't believe in a god, and I have beliefs, and I do actually have faith in the Christian moral objective views, like the way it was structured, the rules, the Old Testament, the archetypal stories. I just exactly like, because I'm not going to plagiarize anyone for this, but just exactly like Jordan Peterson says for himself, is that he acts like he believes in a religion, but he doesn't actually believe in a religion.
Yeah.
And to act like you believe in a religion equals that you are actually trying to act for yourself and you're trying to better yourself. So that's actually where my beliefs are. And be it that I'm a very open person as well, it's easier for me to get more involved, being agreeable as well, to get more involved into religion and into the rule sets and the standards and the principles of what it means to be, well, for my case, more Christian than any other religion.
Yeah, I feel the same way, but not really. Like, I think I discussed it in the last episode with Cameron very vaguely, very quickly, that I believe there is something, but I don't know what. And
Yeah.
actually, living life as if I believe in a religion, I feel like that's something that is a good thing to live by and go by, because it gives you discipline.
Yeah.
And even a rule set. But for me personally, I don't feel like I'm doing that, but that is something that I have thought about and could potentially get into. I don't know, maybe further down the line when I'm a bit more, clear-headed, I guess.
Got a bit more wisdom under your belt. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another peak thing as to why I do feel very involved with religion. It's just the whole wisdom part of it. The religions teach people to become particular people. It is a way of converting strongly and having this influence over people and their actions and what they do. And it's not only is it like a divine prophecy, but it's also a social, an economic, and a political power all in itself.
Yeah.
And we see that happening throughout entire history. When you got the Crusades, you have opposing religions, like as if it was a war, like opposing countries fighting it out and trying to have domination and trying to convert as many as possible. And this is also where it'd be good to talk about the differences between peaceful and extremist religions.
Yeah. That moves perfectly into my next question. Was kind of, do you think religion is the main cause of conflict in the world?
Instantly, no.
No.
I would straight away, I cannot put a pinpoint as to what is the main causes for conflict in the world. There is many different types, which, this is the obvious way to rationalize. I do believe that religion can play a big part in conflict and war, depending on what religion it is or where it is placed in the world.
Yeah.
And there's examples with the Muslim religion and Islam.
Yeah.
In like places like Afghanistan, anywhere in the Middle East. And they're certainly fighting for their, assertive dominance, and the reasons why the war started was really because of oil, if anything, and it was because of the Twin Towers, which is, again, that's a different causal problem, which wasn't originally religion.
Yeah, I don't think the whole, Iran war was to do with these people are bad, religion or anything to do with that. It was to do with oil and money.
Yeah.
And resources. I do think that I do think it's in the top 3 of causes of conflict, though. I believe it's to do with one's power, how much land you own or how much influence you have in the world. 2 is resources, and 3 is religion. I believe they're the top 3 causes of conflict.
Yeah, I can imagine that. I can agree with that.
Yeah. So, I guess going back to peaceful and non-peaceful religions.
Yeah.
Do you think? I'm gonna just jump into it because I don't know. I just want to get into this religion first. Islam.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it's a peaceful religion?
No, it's where controversy is going to rise
Yeah,
up a lot. There's a lot to say about the Muslim religion
there is.
and the Quran. And it's not only just the Quran. It was it's like Saudi Muslim Bible or something like that. It was strange. They a lot of people that are Muslim or people that are defenders of Muslims,
Mm.
they often come up with this like absurd theory or idea that no, the Muslim religion, the very first context, the very first books of it, that they were all peaceful. It
Mm.
was all completely peaceful. Um, Muhammad, he was not. He's not a. He was not a fighter or anything like that, and he didn't do these wrongful things. And that's not true. The very
Yeah.
first text of the Muslim religion, they cite sexism, they cite racism, they cite pedophilia as well.
Mm.
They cite the main thing that we're talking about here, really, not just to try and label it as being bad, but there is specific rules, and one really stood out to me was that you are allowed, you have permissions in your own discretion to kill, hurt, betray, break promises, and violate rules if it is in the name of Muhammad.
Yeah.
That is the biggest rule in the Muslim texts.
Mm.
And because of this rule and many others, we're talking extreme ideological views about women. We're talking about extreme ideological views about other societies and other countries and how they are nothing but like they're just heretics.
Yeah.
We're talking about like heresy now. It was really strong religions back in time,
Mm.
and a lot of these ideologies still coming into today, and we're still having these extremist Muslims, not only extremist Muslims, but even terrorists. And there's been more terrorism related with the Muslim religion than any other terrorist organization you can imagine.
Yeah. No, that's been brought up actually fairly recently. I think it was only a day or two ago I saw on the news that Muslims are complaining. There's like a Muslim council, I think, in London or something for Muslims.
Right.
They were complaining about how when an incident like this, like a terrorist incident happens, they focus on Muslims or Islam or the religion that this person believes in, and they say, "Oh,
Yeah.
this is wrong. This shouldn't be spoken about." When it should be spoken about, because that's the cause of it. It's in the rule set, like you said, to do with Islam.
Yeah.
Infidels, if they don't believe, if someone doesn't believe or convert to Islam, you can hurt them, you can kill them,
Kill, rape,
behead them.
violate, pillage, steal,
Mm.
anything you can imagine. It's still happening today.
It
There
is.
was if anyone that's listening to this, if you look up the podcast of Jocko Willink
Mm.
and Jordan Peterson, there was this letter sent out by this poor girl in somewhere in the Middle East.
Mm.
She was kidnapped along with her sisters and her friends, and all these women got kidnapped by ISIS.
Mm.
And there was this terrible story that she tells that she managed to escape, and she wrote this letter going out to the Western world, to America, to try and express and expose what is happening with ISIS and what's happening in her hometown, her country.
Mm.
And it is so upsetting. It's traumatic to hear.
Mm.
She goes in such detail about what they do to them. So it's still happening today, and that there's a lot of these extremists and terrorists that are beasts. It's absolutely disgusting.
Oh yeah.
Like they can be converted in such deep ideological views that they end up having such a poor lack of judgment and poor morals and poor principles. It's going back in like the old age. It's terrible.
It is. Yeah, I will say it is a medieval mindset that
Yeah,
Islam causes. It's so backwards as well. Like they with gays over there, they get stoned, throw them off roofs.
yeah,
Terrible, terrible stuff. And with women, if they show a bit of skin or just remove their burqa or whatever, again they get lashings, public lashings as well.
yeah.
Really brutal medieval mindset.
Yeah, it wasn't too long ago as well when Saddam Hussein got into power as well that the police and the authorities actually took over with the Muslim and Islamic religion and traditions. Like they were still cutting people's tongues off, cutting people's tongues off, beheadings, hangings. That was still going on. And the people didn't have any choice. They didn't have any. If they were to even, they had such an extremist, authoritarian government when Saddam got into power. That even if you was to just say the name of Saddam without praising him in some way or talking bad of him, somehow the authorities would know, and they would rape their children, then kill them, and then have them watch, and then kill them. That is, yeah,
awful.
When religion gets its grips and its claws into authority as well, that's also another extremely bad problem.
Yeah, I'm just pulling up some like this research here by Pew Research. Pew Research, what they call it, Pew Research Center. They do loads of different researches and different polls and ask questions about many different things.
Yeah.
And I believe in 2016, 2017, they went to Bangladesh, Palestine, Lebanon, Egypt, and Turkey.
Okay.
And asked a question to do with Islam and terrorism, and asked, can suicide bombings be justified against civilian targets in order to defend Islam from its enemies? And in Bangladesh, 47% said yes. In Palestine, 46% said yes. Lebanon, 29% said yes. Egypt, 24% said yes. And in Turkey, 18% said yes. Now, the research is there. Everything's very open, but people still defend it and still will, just say that it's not an evil religion and these people shouldn't be, you shouldn't discriminate against them. These are peaceful people, even though all the terrorist, stuff that's happened, it's mental disorder. That's what they put it down to. That's what the media put it down to. They always say, he had some mental problem when it's a terrorist incident. They may mention Islam, but then they'll go, he had mental health issues. Let's put him in mental hospital. Gets out in about a year, does it again. Or, goes back to Bangladesh or Iran or wherever he came from. Yeah.
Well, the Quran's done its job. That's all I can say. That is exactly its purpose, is to inject these ideological views and to convert people into justifying atrocious acts in the name of converting more and more, not just people, but countries, states, cities.
Yeah.
That is how the extremism gets injected. And even with like the most, civilian families of the Muslim religion, they still hold these views deep in their heads. And whether their parents didn't, maybe the kids do. They end up picking up the old context of it. And that is what's happened many times, not only just with Muslim families, but also like white traditional English families. Children have been brought up and been converted quite easily, and it's a very powerful weapon.
Yeah, especially recently as well. It's like 16 to say 25-year-olds. They see this. It's happening on both sides. I will say it's happening with religion. It's also happening with left-wing political, ideologies, and right-wing ones as well.
Yeah.
That because of how volatile everything's become, all these young people are seeing these different things go on, seeing all these conflicts, and then choosing a side and getting extreme with it.
Yeah.
Because I think it was yesterday on RT News, they were going on about rise of the far right, and they were mentioning Tommy Robinson and Paul Joseph Watson, saying that young people from 16 to 22 are getting involved more with right-wing, what would you call them?
Ideologies,
but more specifically the people. What would you call them?
Yeah.
Idols, I guess.
Okay, yeah.
They're getting more involved with them, watching them more, and having these, bad influences and all this bad crap. But they never talk about the other side, or even religion. They never talk about that side. It's always far right this, far right that. What about Islam? What about Antifa? What about all these other groups? Okay, there are loads of different types of groups.
Yeah. Well, it kind of reminds me of like them not seeing the trees within the forest, kind of thinking they want to focus on what matters to them, and what matters to them is that they're in a tribal warfare between the left and the right. They're not actually looking at what the right is trying to fight for. They're not looking at the actual problems that the right wants to bring up. And it's also a perfect opportunity for those kinds of eccentric people to virtue signal as well. So it's more of a social game for them than it is actually trying to stump out a fire that the right wing thinks is happening with the country in terms of politics.
Yeah, it's purely to discredit these very influential people, such as Paul Joseph Watson, Tommy Robinson. You got other people as well, Milo Yiannopoulos and Gavin McInnes and Jordan Peterson as well. All these different types of people. They are so effective because they are honest and truthful.
Yeah.
Compared to the other side.
Just one thing I want to note is that out of all of those, Jordan Peterson's not right, but he portrays his own opinions, which also do correlate with those people you've mentioned.
That's what I mean. Because he's honest. He's an honest person.
Yeah.
He's genuine, and these people, I believe, are genuine. But yeah, going back to religion, and let's go to the opposite side now of peaceful religions, and probably the most popular one is Christianity.
Yeah. And let's quickly say as well that peaceful, this in like quotation marks, they have had their history, right? So even we're talking like the Buddhist religions as well. All religions have had their history of wars, fighting, and even extremism as well. We've seen that happen with the Ku Klux Klan, with Christianity. So it's peaceful with a pinch of salt, but it's definitely not Islam.
No, it's not. It's not baked in to the rule set. It's how people want to perceive it. Like you said, the Ku Klux Klan, the KKK. You have that group who take it very seriously and want everything to be this.
Yeah, they're extensions. Yeah.
Whereas Islam, that's just Islam. Yeah. That's how it is. It's an evil mindset, a rule set. Whereas Christianity, you
So
have forks, don't you? You have the main string, which is, you know, peaceful, standard Christianity, God, and all that, and then you have forks
yeah,
that come off of these different extremist groups.
yeah, that's yeah, that's a good way of putting it. And the biggest difference as well that I could highlight between, say, an example is Christianity and the Islam religion is the Islam religion is a very forceful and it's a very forceful religion, and it primarily uh, it focuses on converting,
Yeah.
whereas the Christian religion is always more of a choice to convert to that religion. It has always been there. The book's there. It's on the side of your table, whether you want to get into it or not. Whereas the Islam religion is extremely harsh.
Mm.
You know, if you are a Muslim trying to teach a Muslim religion on your children, you're far more likely to do that than you are, say, a Christian parent would, in my opinion, because that is just how it works. Because in the Christian religion, it doesn't actually say in any texts that it is your duty to convert, whereas the Islamic texts in the Quran,
Mm.
there is plenty of quotes in that tells you it is your duty to convert. That
Yeah.
is the main difference. Like, you have these religions of priority interests, and the interests are very different. So that's how you got more extremists in the Muslim religion than you do in Christianity.
Yeah. Yeah, and Christianity is more to do with helping and just trying to, you know, better yourself, basically.
Yeah,
Whereas,
yeah,
you know, Islam is more, like you said, it's more about conversion, and you stick by these rules, otherwise you are a betrayer of Muhammad,
she
and
will be
therefore,
penalized in some way, whether it's social pressure or if it's your own guilt.
yeah, or whether it's beatings or beheading.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So Christian religion, the, the Jesus was actually one of the most recent, let's say, divine beings in the list,
Mm.
because before then we've had things like Horus, or like in Egypt, or we had Attis in Greece. Krishna was even before Jesus
Yeah.
in India. Dionysus, all sorts of people, and an interesting thing to go on is the Zeitgeist movie that some people might have heard.
Mm.
And in Zeitgeist, the documentary movie, it actually shows the common things between all of these divine beings. That's right.
Mm.
So, an example is Jesus had 12 disciples. He was born December 25th.
Mm-hmm.
He was born from a virgin, and he followed the star in the east.
Mm.
And he was adorned by three kings, which were the three wise men,
Okay.
which were particularly three characters.
Mm.
He was a teacher at 12. He was baptized at 30, and is performing miracles like healing the sick.
Mm.
He is the light, he is the truth, he's God's son, and he was crucified,
Mm.
and he was buried for 3 days and resurrected.
Mm.
Every single divine being you can think of, like the ones that I listed, like Horus, Attis, Krishna, Mithra, and many other Greek gods as well before that,
Yeah.
they all had the exact same stories.
Yeah.
Every single one. Horus, 12 disciples, born on December 25th, born from a virgin, star in the east.
Mm.
He was adorned by three kings. Krishna, the exact same thing. Died, crucified, buried for 3 days, resurrected. Every single one of these have the exact same thing.
Mm.
So I wanted to say that before we carried on, because I don't want us to come across that we're just highlighting the Christian religion,
Yeah.
and that we're highlighting that it's the best, or I don't want us to be so biased on this whole conversation. And I want to get it across that we're not just trying to promote Christian religion either, and I just want to make sure that we understand that actually religion through history has had the exact same stories going across.
Yeah.
And whether there's any actual faithful religious people listening to this right now, there is this massive connection, and this is proven to me even more so that this is why I don't believe there is a God. This is why I don't believe that religion is actually divine in any way, any kind of divinity or prophetic token. I can't fathom it. I can't agree with it.
Yeah. No, yeah. It's not a promotion for Christianity or anything like that, because I don't know. I think it has a good message, but personally, I don't think there's a white-haired bearded man on a cloud that created Earth and everything around it.
Yeah, created Earth in 7 days. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the universe, wasn't it, in 7 days? I'm not even. I need to brush it up. But if we want to talk about a good message, the good messages of Christianity, because we've been going on about that now.
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to say about it, or should I go ahead?
Well, from just my knowledge that I know of, I don't know much about certain religions or the histories behind it. It's very vague what I know, but from what I see, and from this is probably a good viewpoint for a lot of people as well, because people see it. People see religions on surface level most of the time. Like I reckon a good 70%, 80% of people do.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah,
it's Christianity is it's a very peaceful, nice, humble religion that's part of English history and American history as well.
Yeah.
So it also brings a bit of patriotism as well.
Yeah, it does connect traditionally. Yeah, it's a very, very old religion.
Yeah, so that's when I see Christianity. That's what I see. I see, okay, these people believe in this. I'm not really that taken in by it, but I like the message. I like the how you act. So, and I like the patriotism that it brings along with it. So I'm fine with it.
Yeah, there's that brought up a point in my head that that way of feeling that you've had in the Western culture, in the British tradition, and Christianity was I'm not sure if it's dominant now, but it was dominant in England with the royal family as well, and all of our history that goes along with it. We had the Druids as well, the Druids of England, and a lot of the same can't really be said for some of the youngins that are growing up in the Middle East with the Muslim religion.
No, yeah.
And it's not just the Middle East. It's also in various countries like Pakistan, or in like Tajikistan, or India, or even in various places in Russia as well. There's a lot of this converted thing. But I know, it sprang it up in my head, and it's something that quite upsets me. Is I know a few people that I grew up with in my lifetime, who I would not name, and they have told me about their unwant for the family religious pressure that they're having, and their skepticism. And not only that, but it makes them feel depressed. It makes them feel strangely like isolated as a person and to other people, because religion isn't just a thing to follow as an ideology, but it's an actual mindset, and the mindset is actually quite damaging for young people. The Muslim religion in particular, but not only that, actually for Christianity too. When any religion is forced or pushed too much on a child growing up, it can actually be quite damaging.
That's where I don't agree with religion, is that if it's to the point where you're forcing it upon your kids, or it's being forced upon uh, young people, it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
It should be, educate them on it. Don't just
Yeah.
start teaching them like it's a English lesson or a maths lesson.
Wagging the finger, yeah.
Yeah, educate them and give them a choice.
That's the point, I think, with religion, is that because of the psychologies, you're never going to get someone to do what you want them to do if they don't want to do it. They have to be willing to do so. So with religion, I feel like it has to be the freedom, the autonomy for the person to want to go into it themselves, and not for you to force it upon them.
Yeah.
But this is then where I have another opinion, an idea that kind of it kind of contradicts that, is that I still think it's very good to teach children the archetypal stories of religion, such as like it is the various rules of religion. But I don't want to actually be telling them or giving them any kind of, if in my own children, I don't want to give them any influence that this is a Christian religion, this is Christianity. I just want to tell them the stories, and these stories can be really beneficial for their upbringing, because it
Yeah.
teaches them lessons that they can then only experience and understand as they grow older, and then become more wiser because of it, which is very helpful. Bringing this in, like the Old Testament told a lot of it taught a lot of its teachings through stories, and really good examples that a lot of people would know is Cain and Abel, the Garden of Eden, the Sermon on the Hill as well. And not only that, the story of the devil, and also Dante's Inferno is a good one as well. And I don't necessarily think that was in the Old Testament, but I believe it was his own book. A lot of these stories, like for example, like the Cain and Abel story, was teaching you about nihilism and how nihilism is extremely dangerous. And for if people don't know what nihilism is when you believe that there is no meaning to existence or anything around you. So therefore, what is the point? And what comes along with nihilism is typically depression and anxiety, self-deprecation, and the main one is that it's actually starting the growth of malevolence towards other people and other beings.
Yeah.
And the story of Cain and Abel was about how Cain was always jealous about Abel, where Abel was always getting the attention, the love, the approval from their hometown, and it seemed that God praised Abel more so than God praised Cain, and Cain was neglected. And Cain very quickly became nihilistic, and he wanted to. He didn't only just hate his brother, but because he hated his brother, he ended up hating God, and he wanted to go against God. And when it comes to like archetypal stories, you see the same things happen from, say, like 3000 BC all the way from here we are now in 2020. Not 2020, but 2020. That's what it means to be archetypal, because it's almost like these teachings and this wisdom, it exists in what we can see going on nowadays as it is just like a metaphysical thing. And it's also like your gut instinct, you can also sense that. It's quite often, if someone's reading the Old Testament or the Bible, it feels like they're already reading something they already learned or something they already know. It always helps to kind of refresh their memory on that. The Garden of Eden as well, like that's literally just another example about what the proper order and explanation is between man and woman, man and female, and when it all started. And it's also, it's a great introduction to the Christian religion, because it kind of puts you in your place, and about who you are, what you're supposed to be doing, and why you're here. And partner that up with mystery as well.
Yeah.
that is where a lot of this religion and a lot of different archetypal stories can end up becoming theories, or they start becoming what I think, because I don't think this is an actual divine thing. I think it's the creation of other human minds that
Yeah.
have spanned this out. So where I'm getting with that is, I think with all of the human minds that have changed, converted, edited the Old Testament into different kinds of Bibles, because you get lots of different types as well of the same religion.
Mm.
I feel like out of the extensive history we've got of that and how strong the religion is, it's actually kept the history very well because of that strong influence and strong faith.
Yeah.
Is all of these ancient wisdom that we should be taking right now, because that is the reason why it's there, is to help the next generations grow faster. It's actually a weapon. It's a super weapon. It's a strategy.
Mm.
And I think the biggest injustice nowadays, and especially in the modern era, is that strangely we're not actually taking the wisdom or any information from our previous ancestors, which it is expressed in archetypal stories.
Yeah.
So of course I want to teach my children what it means to become a person, what it means to live on this planet.
Yeah.
And if they reject it, and then that is their choice, and I don't want to force it upon them. So that's my views on archetypal stories and religion, and that's why I think is extremely important.
Mm. Yeah, I would agree with that. It give them, tell them these stories, tell them about this. It gives them meaning, I feel like, and that's what's missing from a lot of people today, is their purpose in life, in this life.
Preach, yeah.
Their meaningfulness, because it's like that saying, idle hands are the devil's workshop.
Yeah.
People don't have enough to do, or have access to all these cheap ways of making money. Like OnlyFans accounts. Just show your ass online, and you get shit tons of money of these. People jacking off to it.
Like you do, Joe.
Yeah, like me, yeah, I'll show my ass a lot.
I'm a subscriber.
Ooh. Yeah, they have all these easy, cheap ways of just accessing money, accessing fame, accessing. It's shortcuts.
It's expediency. That's
Yeah.
the best word to put it. It's quick and it's easy, and you get your satisfaction.
Yeah, but what people don't understand is that can only last so long before it really corrupts and plays on your mind and damages you. It honestly, it's so damaging, people don't believe it, but it's been promoted just extensively by the
money. I think it's money.
Yeah.
It's promoted by money because it's making so much of it. So it is maybe damaging the minds, but that's a long-term problem for something that's such a short-term gain for economics.
Yeah.
It would never quit. It will not quit unless there is a particular, which is quite funny, a particular faith you could go in to have all the people change their minds, right?
Yeah.
To convert, to go against that. That's quite ironic. That's quite funny.
But yeah, like just quickly saying that all these types of people who are into that type of OnlyFans, making porn up accounts and doing all these titty streams for a quick buck,
titty streams.
they are supported and aided by left-wing groups or left-wing media or left-wing political bodies.
Whoa, that's a big statement to make.
I'm gonna say it. It's genuine. Like, look at Antifa for instance. I always talk about them, but they are a good,
representation for your argument. Right?
Exactly. Yeah, they have people in that have been known to just do the OnlyFans type of stuff, You know, they're punky, you know, wannabe anarchists, but then they're supported and want Bernie Sanders or the Democrats in power in America.
Yeah.
You know, it's this line. It goes from the Democrats to Antifa, then Antifa to these corrupt little people who, you know, do the titty streams for money. It's all linked, okay? It's all there.
Okay, I think I can agree with somewhat of what you're saying. I believe it's linked with particular individuals, not
Yeah.
not left wing entirely.
No, yeah, I think it's like I said, it's linked. It's not a direct path, though.
No, yeah, it's a schema of things.
Yeah.
That's how you could put it. Going back to the idea that you had about the idle hands is the devil's workshop.
Yeah.
I want to bring this up. Retirement. I want to know what your opinion is on retirement, because I certainly know what my one is, and we could go on a good tangent here.
Mm.
There's always this there's this idea that most, let's say, baby boomers or the older generation have it.
Yeah.
It's something for all this time. It's always this idea that you should save up all of your money, and you've got to keep working hard. You've got to keep working and working and working, and you've got to set a goal about when you want to retire. And a lot of people want to retire very early, and they want to feel proud of what they've done. They want to have a legacy. They want to know that they could, in their dreams, is that they want to be sat on a beach with a couple of mojitos in some kind of exotic country, and they don't have to worry at all, and they've saved all their money for them just to relax and to do whatever the fuck they wanted. That's that's retirement, right? I think it's so wrong, because I know a couple of people that went into retirement, and not only that, there was just this problem that they didn't realize, is that they end up getting more depressed. They become unhealthier. They find out that they actually got a longer time on this planet than they thought.
Yeah.
And they have no purpose. Most, which is the biggest connection with this idle hands idea, is that there's no purpose, there's nothing for them to do, there's nothing for them to work towards.
Yeah.
What's your opinions on that?
I guess I agree with that. I feel like working all your life to try and scrounge up as much money as you can, you know, scrimping in life as well, not enjoying your life until the end of your life, I think that's kind of stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, and with all these different, you know, type of retirement schemes saying, oh, you know, you can earn this amount of money, or, you know, we can do all this. What you don't realize is that with these pension pots as well, in companies, when you get your pension, I believe that the government take like 10% or something, a fair amount. So it's not all great, and it's not a great thing, you know, to be happy or thinking about, I don't think. But
no.
Going to the what's it called, the meaningfulness of, you know, the whole side of it. I think that's when people, older people retire and they have this certain amount of money, they do what they, you know, want to do. Like they might go to, you know, New Zealand, or go to, you know, Hawaii and sit on the beach and drink, you know, some drinks or whatever.
Yeah.
But after they've done that so many times, like twice, or however many times they can with the money they've got, they kind of lose meaning. So then they start, you know, because you always see it with like little old ladies. You see them, you know, they've retired or their husband's retired, and then they just set up like a little knitting shop and sell some stuff online.
Yeah, they can't help it. Yeah, they're industrious.
People need that meaningfulness. They need to keep busy, otherwise they rot. And I feel like that is like a big cause of why older people die when they're older, like when they get hit about 70 or 80. Obviously it's to do with health stuff as well, but I feel like if you have that meaningfulness, that goal to just keep working, and I'm going to keep doing this, I've got this to do tomorrow, I've got that to do, I've got that to make, I've got this to build, I feel like that that pushes you further and and probably makes you live a little bit longer.
Yeah, well, it keeps the clock moving. You're moving yourself physically as well. You're, and not only just physical, but it's mental.
Yeah.
It prevents anxiety. It prevents depression. It prevents any kind of like self-deprecation, because you'll find that you're busy and you're doing something. But not only that, it does give you that purpose that you look for in life, which I believe a lot of people do but don't quite realize. And that's a really good connection with what religion helps and does with you, is that it puts you in your place. It gives you your purpose, despite all of the odds. Like, I'm willing to bet that a homeless guy that believes in a particular religion, has faith, and knows what his purpose is in life, and it's to become the best person he can be and to try and spread peace, right? He's more likely to survive than a homeless person that does not have any faith, does not have any religion, and can very easily fall into the nihilistic side of personality. And it's actually, there's a lot of research and studies, and not only that, just a lot of empirical evidence as well, that people that are malevolent or hate or are upset in some way, they end up like any stresses to life, that their mental side affects their physical, without a doubt. And there's like really obvious interpretations of that. It's just like emotional eating, for example. And like, you know, you could become anorexic, or you could be extremely obese. Like, that's just one indicator how the mental mind can affect the physical. And depression and anxiety and stress in life is a massive killer in the body, and it can also affect your cardiology as well, your coronary your organs as well. It's a massive thing. You get all this inflammation, stress in the body. And so this whole retirement idea, it's just a fantasy that shouldn't really exist. And I think there's a lot of story in the Old Testament that basically tells you of that. It gives you your purpose, and you need to keep working. You need to keep searching for that star. That's what I want my kids to follow. I would want my kids to work as hard as they can despite all of their odds. You know, maybe, for example, my child has fallen ill, and it's like, oh, I can't go to school. It's like, that's fair enough. You're not going to school, but you are actually going to be doing work at home. You're not getting out of this. And oh, you've got this presentation you need to be doing, but you've got a migraine. No, I'm going to be working you like a bloody workhorse. Like, you need to go to that presentation and do that, because you need to push yourself to the extremes to know when you will back down. You need to know where you stand and how much you really can do as an individual, because I feel like a lot of people are missing out on their fullest potential.
A lot of people, I feel like, give up today, go the easy route, like that, because there's so many options now for just easiness. Like, oh, you don't want to do that? Okay, fine, we can do a private lesson for that. You know, we can do just the teacher and just the presentation. I feel like, no, force them to do it. Get them out of that, you know, comfort zone that their parents or whoever, you know, or themselves have put themselves in. They need to be broken out of that, because I feel like I was in that situation for a very long time as well. Going personally, I was in that situation because in school, that sort of thing used to happen to me. But recently, you know, I've had to break out of it myself and realize, no, this is more beneficial for me. I'm going to be more successful. I'm going to be more competitive in a workplace. Therefore, I'm going to earn more money and just have a better life that way. And I feel like that's what people are missing. It's the meaningfulness of their life, and then the actual, you know, the pressure that they need to withstand, you know, because people can't stand any sort of pressure today. Like, you tell them, you know, oh, your hair looks a bit frizzy today, most people would just
that'd ruin their week.
That would completely ruin them. They would be upset, go to HR, you know.
Go to HR. Then we're on to another tangent.
It's just, what's it called? Snowflakes. Like, remember the when did that come out? Like 2016, all the snowflakey stuff started happening.
Snowflakes definitely become popular in 2016. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, Trump got elected, and
Yeah.
yeah,
All the. Oh god, that's gonna happen again this November.
yeah. I'm actually quite excited to see what happens. I want to see the result.
I'm excited, but also bloody worried as well at the same time.
Yes. Yeah.
Like,
we don't know what the reactions would be.
Yeah. Like going off from religion a bit here. The Bernie Sanders and Camilla Harris. That's that. I just want to quickly say it. Bernie Sanders, I think he's a shell. I think he's just this cardboard face that they've stuck up, and they're using his history and his past as vice president with Barack Obama to gain votes, and then after a year in power, they would say, "Oh, his mental health's deteriorated, so it's time to put Camilla Harris as president in power." I feel like that's the main reason they're using him. It's just for his,
He's a pawn.
He is.
He is a bloody pawn.
He's a pawn for the Clintons, and
he's getting paid well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Joe.
Yeah.
So I think to finish off this podcast, I actually want to ask more about I want to know how you perceive the world, either religiously or in any theories you have. Is there anything that's unknown to me that you haven't told anyone? What do you think is, say, the biggest adages to life that everyone should follow? Maybe. Give me your shtick. Give me your idea on it.
Well, I think if people want to have a good, fulfilling life, and not go too far, so you're corrupted and you're going down these dark routes and dark alleys, selling yourself, basically.
Yeah.
Keep yourself busy. Find a hobby. Find multiple hobbies. Concentrate, get a skill, basically. Find something that you are good at, whether it's flipping burgers, selling carpets, fixing cars, changing tires, I don't know, advertising, marketing, making websites, anything. Find a skill, work at it, and really push yourself to strive for the best possible outcome for that skill.
Yeah.
Keep working, basically. Don't give up, because as soon as you give up or say, "Oh, I'll do that tomorrow," "Oh, I'll do that next week," you're going to say it again and again and again, and by the time you realize it's 50 years and you've lost everything.
And here's another question. Is there any strategy you can think of on how we could better help those people that are falling into that pit? People we may know.
I guess.
How could one help the other? How could you help your neighbor?
Maybe just try and show them things. Try and open up their tunnel vision. Because I feel like a lot of people have that as well. They just want to do this certain thing. "Oh, I don't want to listen to that. I don't want to listen. I just want to concentrate on this." You need to have a bit of a wider view so you can see which road you're going down more clearer. Because, if you've got tunnel vision, you just see the one road. That's it. Whereas if
go on.
If you have like a wider view, you can see all the different routes, you can see all the different options, all the different things that are going on in the world. Whether it's, if it upsets you, let it upset you, because then at least that's something I don't want to follow, or maybe it might open your mind up to something else, because a lot of people that, look at all this sad news or all this horrible things online and on Facebook and on the news or whatever, they always say, "Oh, I don't really watch it because it upsets me," or this, that, and the other. It's like, let it upset you. Let that change your mind, because you need that to better yourself and progress.
Okay, yeah, and that to me as well. That the widening the tunnel vision sounds a lot to me like, in my opinion, like therapy. And yeah, so not only that, you believe that exposure exposure to danger, exposure to risk,
Yeah.
daring to go in the unknown, you reckon that is a really good cure to getting out of your pit, so to say?
Yeah, I believe so, because it gives you, because if you're in this one mindset, tunnel vision, and something off, something happens that you're not used to, it's gonna really affect you, and you're gonna cower, hide, run, cover it up, or not listen to it. Whereas if you force yourself to listen to it and take that face on, take that shouting person in your face, you do something wrong at work and someone starts shouting at you, instead of running away and crying, if you just take it on, it'll open up your mind, because then you might argue back, you might fight back. It will give you that power, that sense of being.
Yeah, dare to show your teeth and become a monster.
Yeah.
I get you. Yeah. Well, after having this talk in this episode, I was thinking it'd be really good if we have an episode 2.
Oh yeah.
Episode 2 for religion.
Definitely. I would like to get up a lot more information on certain subjects. I feel like all these episodes that have happened so far are more as a opening piece for like the next part, because there is a lot more that we can talk about on religion.
Yeah.
I have to do a lot more research, because I'm not that, like I think I said before, that I'm not too knowledgeable on most religions, or have in-depth knowledge on these. But I feel like on episode 2 I'll do my research, and then we can have like a full, like maybe even 2-hour talk on this type of stuff. Yeah,
because I'd like to also cover how people perceive lives as well, like Darwinist, or in like a story subjective manner. How religion's connected to mental health, and how religion can become a business. And I'd like to talk more about Carl Jung as well. So there's quite a lot to talk about with religion. It's a massive topic.
Oh yeah. It's
one hell of an episode for episode 5, I've got to say.
Yeah, no, I've really enjoyed this one. I think it's been more full, more continuous, and hopefully
we're getting better.
We are getting better. And you've got your own podcast coming out, haven't you?
Yeah. So me and George, you've heard on episode 2, we've created a podcast called I'm Right. We are in the process of making it, and we're not quite ready yet. There's some software issues that we're having right now. But this podcast is going to be about lifestyle and video games, especially video games. With each episode, we're going to have a topic of video games to talk about. It could be a particular franchise, and we'll talk about every single detail about that video game, and we'll talk about our nostalgia towards it and our experience. And every now and then will be an off topic about our personal lives. Very excited to start that project, and if I'm being honest, I think it's the same probably for George, although George had this idea for making a podcast well before anyone I know. You definitely influenced and pushed out the boat for me to definitely go and to go on this quest for this podcast project idea.
Yeah,
I think our goal is just to at least do a month. A month of a podcast a week would be really good. But we'll keep you posted on that.
Yeah, no, I think a podcast is good for just, it's good for development, personal development as well.
Yeah.
Because it's not only is it a log for your ideas and beliefs and research, it's also good for, listening back to, and how you can maybe talk a bit better, how you can explain things better, and how and with the skill side of it, it helps you tweak, edit, video editing as well, or audio editing. So it's got its little perks. Yeah,
again, it draws you to always feel like you need to have a purpose again.
Yeah.
We need to be working on something. There you go. With all this quarantine going on, especially for me not having a job.
Yeah.
This is going to be hopefully a perfect thing for me.
Good. Yeah, I'm glad that you're doing it, and I'm looking forward to listening to it, and also potentially being on it.
Yes, yeah, that's the plan.
Alrighty, thanks for coming on.
Thank you, Joseph.
All right, see ya.
Bye.